Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to this Facebook Live edition of our Sky Lake mini hike. Today's Monday, April 20th. We start a new week. It is a beautiful day, sunshine, not quite warm enough to go without ear cover or sweatshirt layer, but it is still a beautiful day. I am looking to go on my hike today through the Pine Tree Trail, which starts us on the west shore. So join me as we go through and see the beautiful environment in the world in the pines. It's much shadier in here. Thankfully, we don't have to deal with the bugs yet, but this is a beautiful day to go through one of my favorite trails. This Pine Tree Trail is set amongst our red pines, and they are all nicely set in a row. They were planted to regrow this area. It's such a quiet environment. One of my favorite places to walk through. The soft floor of the woods bring a nice cushion to the hike. I must admit, I came through earlier and you could hear the birds. There was a woodpecker off to our left that was busy working. Pine Tree Trail is one of those that lead from the west shore and down to connect to the lake trail, which, if you remember from our hikes before, it's close to the lake. Our trails complete a circuit that we use for a 5K. You'll notice every once in a while there's been one of these signs. We have a 5K trail run and walk that we do associated with our open house day. You can sign up for that, and any funds that are raised go towards our campership fund. This is probably the last third of the run itself on the Pine Tree Trail, but it's such a beautiful environment. On our left are more hardwoods, as witch hazel and other trees. Such a beautiful blue sky today. I always say make sure you stop and look up, because it's such a beautiful sight. And then these are the pines, the red pines. I'm going to walk in here because if you can see inside, one of the things that we do here at Sky Lake, one of our programs is Outdoor Adventure, formerly known as Water and Woods, formerly known as Outpost Camp. We actually teach skills of creating a home in the woods. And this is an example of a home that's been created. I think this is a couple of years old at least, but created by one of our camper groups. You pick up the materials that you have on the floor of the forest and use them to create a shelter. In this case, they use the logs that have been cut or fallen from the trees, and then make sure there's an opening so you can get in and out. But then you use the needles and some of the ferns to keep and protect the wind on the backside. It's always a temporary shelter because you want to be able to take it down and put it back to nature. But in this case, we leave it up as an example. One of the other things we also teach is creating a table. And as we look around this spot that they chose, there's some trees that are close enough that you can lash a table together and have a spot to prepare meals and do other things as you need to. I'm just going to stand here in this spot for a moment, take in the atmosphere. The woodpecker I was talking about earlier isn't around anymore. He's moved on. Come back out to the trail. These trails are also well used by our four-legged neighbors. As they walk down through, I often see evidence of the hoof prints from the deer. And of course, the squirrels love all these pine cones. They've been busy gathering more up after being in hibernation for the winter. Such a beautiful trek. The Pine Tree Trail is one of my favorite spots to come through and just pause and listen. I hope you've enjoyed this day too. Encourage you when we have a chance to come and take a walk on the trail yourself someday. I invite you to come back and join us again on Wednesday as we lead you on another hike through a space in these sacred grounds of Sky Lake. Thank you for joining me today. Have a beautiful and wonderful day. God bless.